efforts there. But, that's only just because I'm involved in creating the thing you can see. Tech Nottingham, they're supporting the Zoom side of this, so they're supporting the hybrid. They give us that Zoom account, so thanks to them. JetBrains and Calyx, they're both sponsoring us with swag. So we need to talk to Gosia about choosing some swag, but Gosia will choose some swag, and then probably after the event, because we've got enough going on, we'll draw these two. But what you need to do for that is tweet out, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Tech Nottingham, they're sadly not going to go back to in person, which is a little bit sad. But I think there's other things going on there as well. But they're absolutely worth a join. Their community is awesome, so do go join them. They've got a Slack channel for pretty much everything from PHP all the way through to counting up in hex. In fact, I'm not counted up in hex in ages. That used to be you that used to keep that up. I think it's probably gone wrong. For the JetBrains swag, we are giving away a license to 12-month license to any one of their particular products. So tweet on the hashtag .NETNots, and we'll draw that out of a hat after the event and get in touch. That's well worth having anything from ReSharper to WebStorm, PHP Storm, things like that. And then Calyx, again, tweet on the hashtag .NETNots, and we will draw a single person out from that, and you will win probably a book that Gosia will choose on cognitive services. So it's well worth doing that. It's not going to be that book, but it's something like that. So it'll look like that with a different word and a different picture. If you're interested in becoming an MVP, then absolutely, if you're in person, then there's two of us too. But there's only two MVPs here, but me and Gosia are both MVPs. And if you're on Zoom, do approach Jess, and we're going to be more than happy to talk to you about how you join that Microsoft program that empowers folks that do community work like we're doing. Tonight, we've got the awesome Gosia Borzecka to talk about cognitive services extravaganza. So that's going to be everything from Face API all the way through to make sure you do it right. Interesting. It's on the screen as well, so I can see that happening. Hacktoberfest is happening next month. If you don't know what that is, then that is an open source movement, essentially, where you can contribute to open source, be involved in that open source community, and get some swag or plant a tree, entirely up to you. It's also Microsoft Ignite next month, so do get involved in that. We've got a UK community event happening around that. I think it's already full, sadly, but the UK community are involved in that. So do go check that out. And it's also the Festive Tech Calendar in December, and I think the CFP is open for that. So if you want to get involved in presenting at that, then do go ahead and look up the Festive Tech Calendar. And with that, we can do the interesting part instead of listening to me. So thanks very much for that, and I'll catch you all in a bit. So switching over to Gosia's screen.
So today I will talk about cognitive services. And little about me, I'm an AI MVP. I work for Avanade, shortly as a data engineer, not modern workplace anymore. So it's very exciting. I also doing AI 42, so it's everything what you need to know about AI. There are a lot of courses. So if you want to know AI from beginning, this is a great place. Everything we have on YouTube. I'm also, my background is a developer. So I work as a .NET developer. I used to work as React developer. Now I'm working with Python, and I used to work as Office 365 developer as well. And I have Ada Lovelace. And if you don't know who she is, then I'm sorry, shame on you. So you can Google it. But I live in Hucknall, and this is where her resting place is. So I really recommend to go a little tour where she's resting now. So let's start off what is artificial intelligence. So do you know what is it? What do you think? Anyone?
Based on the inputs, it can make its own decisions?
Yes. So artificial intelligence is based on reasoning. So you have some question, you have a lot of data, and you want the answer. So also you need to understand all of this data. And because this is a lot of data, you want to just have some help. And AI usually is just for helping us to make those decisions. But of course, a lot of developers not have a data science background, so cognitive services come in with simple APIs that we can easily use. So cognitive services are pre-trained AI, and the fun fact is that it's called Project Oxford before it came as cognitive services, and Project Oxford was created in Cambridge. So I know that you understand the joke. So cognitive services as well as part of Microsoft AI. There is machine learning APIs, and there is a lot of services that you can easily use. And there are 4 main groups. I know that it's 5 here, but there are 4 main groups. So it's decision, language, speech, and vision. And now Microsoft is working with open AI services. And it's in preview, it's public preview, so not everyone have access. So to have access to this one, you need to sign in, tell what kind of project you want to do, and you can use open AI services. But the main one is decision, language, speech, and vision, and most of this we'll talk today. So what is the difference between cognitive services and Azure Machine Learning? I know it's a little lag, I can see on my screen. So cognitive services is made for developers who don't have machine learning background, so can easily just get these APIs, get a just basic concept of what is it, and just use them. And machine learning is more for data scientists that they can get and create more models and play with more data. So what are advantages of cognitive services? You can use not only the AI or this what Microsoft create, these APIs, but as well you can customize them. So we'll see some examples of this as well. And you can use these easy tools. You can use this as well. It's everything in the cloud, so it's easy call and back with all of these APIs. And as well, it doesn't matter on what language you're working on, but you have a lot of SDKs. So you can have Python, C#, Java, JavaScript, or Go. So you don't need to write everything from beginning. But of course, if you want, you have simple API call that you can just call back and you have it. But the SDKs can easily help you to just work with it. And as well, if you like containers or if you couldn't go on the cloud, you can use containers for cognitive services. So this is the case when just you couldn't go to the cloud and you need to have everything in that container and cannot go out online. So it's for decision, for language, speech, and vision. And this is a lot of flags, Peter.
It's what? Lag?
Yeah, I cannot see the same.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, wonder why that is. You're still. Oh, there we are.
Okay.
That's really laggy.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think it's a copy this.
Let me tell you what I'll do. Just thinking what the best idea is. Because we just want to share your screen out to your slides out to there, don't we? Really?
Yeah, I'm sharing
Your
all
whole
my
screen.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Bear with us. It's really laggy, that is, as well, isn't it? Why is that so
is.
laggy? Shouldn't be. You're on the BGSS Wi-Fi as well, aren't you? So it's not like you're on a hotspot. Because you still need to share it out there too, really. It needs to be in time.
And
Hello,
can
Jess.
help with me.
Yeah, the slides are really laggy. Switch back to your slides.
Yeah.
That's not laggy, though.
No, no. But
Oh, it was really laggy there for some reason.
yeah.
All right, let's carry on and see, and then we'll fix it if we need to.
Okay.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay. So how we can start with cognitive services? Of course, we need to have access to Azure. So we have 2 options. So when we go to create resources, we can just type cognitive services. And here we have cognitive services that we can create. They have a lot of APIs in one run. So I will not create them, but the pricing tier is only standard. So this means every API call you going on, you pay for it. But you have everything in one API. And of course, you need to agree on responsible AI, and we'll talk later about this bit. So it's very easy, you're just creating it, but next you need to pay for each of this. But the second option is you can test them. For example, if you choose Face API, Face. You can create it, and then you have option to just choose free. So it means if you're testing anything or you want to do a POC, it's very good because you're not paying for anything of this cost. So it's very useful to just not pay, even if you have paid subscription. So this is how we can easily use this one. And when we create, not here, sorry. So when we create cognitive services, this is what we have. We have a lot of APIs that we can easily use. And this what you need to have is the key that you can regenerate if you show someone or by mistake you push to GitHub, and endpoint. So only these two things you need to have for each of these APIs. So how you see, it's very easy just to create and use them. So let's start to talk about each of the services. So first of group is decisions. So with decision, we have anomaly detector, content moderator, and personalizer. With anomaly detector, we have two options. It's unvaried and multivariate. So it depends on which tags we want to use. So if we want to go with one variables or with multiple variables. And there is an and there is a nice site that you can go and test how it works. So how I mentioned, you can get your endpoint and key here. You can put them here and test how it's working. Or you just can go to samples and see how each of these APIs are working. And here is very nice because you have visualization. But if you would like to go with code, you can write the code for anomaly detection, where you will have sample data. So how you see, there is some data with date and some numbers. So when we're looking at it, it's really difficult to find this anomaly, what kind of anomalies are. So here's the sample from Microsoft Docs. So you can go and check like it's going. So you have, how I mentioned, endpoint, API key. So every of this is using SDK. And it's checking on which time. So it's daily, but you can do weekly, monthly, yearly, or even for hours. So let's run this one. And based on this data, it's checking if there is an anomaly of data or not. So it's calling the API, getting everything, sending this data, and going back and showing on which index there was some anomaly. So we can easily check if anything is wrong with our data. The content moderator is if we want to moderate anything from image, text, video, or just do a human review. And again, it's very easy. You have API key that is sending to endpoint. We have this all information, what we want to classify, to check, and we have the results. And we have evaluate of any adult or racy content, or detecting on image, detecting any faces, or as well we can create a custom list if we need to moderate anything. So it's going with matching score, it's going with match image, can tag all images or label them. And for example, we have this picture. So on this issue, we can check if, for example, the text is correct, it don't have any errors or anything. And if we run this one, how you see at the end of this, it's getting the text and can check if it's correct, where exactly the text is, and give all this information for us. And as well, it's checking the adult, if it's adult content or not. So how you see it's zero, almost zero, so it's very good. So always the score is between 0 and 1, so 0% and 100%. And as well, text moderation can find a profanity, classification. If there is also any personal data, this is very important. If someone not sending our data, can do autocorrection automatically, or again, we can have a custom list. And the last of this is personalizer. So we have some data from the user, and we want to give them a lot of personalized things. So we're finding this on Facebook, on YouTube, or Netflix, or other stuff. So if you would like to have for our customers of our applications, the personalizer can give any feedback for our users. And as well, it's how you see on this example, it's working with videos. So you have some videos that user like, and then it can find some other similar ones to recommend. So So how we can see here is example of what from console app is going on. So what kind of things Bill and Amy like, on what time of day they logging, and on which browser. So all of this information that it's collected, I think from everyone, because we're using a lot of mobile phones, we can also get them, and this is what we see, I think. The next group is language. So this is very cool example how the language can be used. So based on the paragraph, it could tag every information from the text, the key information. So with language, we can have entity recognition, sentiment analysis, question answering, conversational language understanding, and translator. So all of this information, we can go with this one service. And one of this is text analytics. So we got some text and we would like to analyze this one. And this is really good example on SDK. So on each SDK, if you go, you have a lot of information. So you can go and see, like, here is SDK for .NET. And we can go and check them. It's easy to just copy, paste, and run on your computer to see exactly how it's worked. Just you need your API key and endpoint. So I copied it as well here. So like here, can detect what kind of language it is, what kind of confidence of the score, and can write all of this for us. So if we don't know language, it can detect it first, and for example, then translate for language that we understand. As well, this can do for many other languages. So you don't need to have only one language, but you can just check multiple of them and it can do it for you. And question answering, it's very good if you have any FAQ on your website. So you can create just simple bot that will understand natural language, and people can just chat with the bot and find this answer from your FAQ. Because I think sometimes FAQ is very difficult to find and check this all answer. And as well, this is very fun. You can add to question answering the chit chat. I know couldn't see correctly on the screen, but there is like professional, friendly, very funny or other stuff. So it's very cool if you just want like who create you, and if you have professional business, you don't want to say that, I don't know, Alin create you or anything like that. So it's very good that you don't need to create these all things, but you have them there. And this is a good example of language. So if we sometimes need a special custom language, this very help, because I know that each of you using different name of these things. For me, it's always bread or other stuff, but I know that you're calling them differently. So with this one, we can just add the custom language for each region, for example, that someone will joining to us. And with this, Microsoft create also the Language Studio. So Language Studio, okay. So on Language Studio, you can try out some phrases or anything. Just this, of course, what you need is get your API key and endpoint, and then you can go and check everything. And it's very cool thing that just you can go and check, you can get results, can have result in JSON, so you can easily create some tests for all of these applications. You have some examples that you can go on GitHub. So every of this is very cool on this Language Studio. But as well, you can create your custom. So it's not only the text here that you can try it, but you can create your own project. So only one thing what you need to be careful on is what region you put in your cognitive services. Mostly, if you're testing, it's good to put on East US, because there always is working. Sometimes on UK or West, it's not. But again, it depends on what project you're working. If it's only POC, it's okay. But some customer will not agree to put all the data outside of UK. So sometimes you need data scientists for this bit, unfortunately. You can add custom text classification. So this is when, like with this bread, you have different names or different things. And with all of this, like data scientists doing, you need to just get the data, label them. Sometimes it's really an annoying thing to label all data. Train model, view if it's working correctly. And it's again and again, because sometimes the model is stop working, or you need to improve the model. And then you have, of course, this classified text that you can easily use, but then someone will come and use your product and find that different language. And again, you need to buy back and do it. So it's not like you write one program like in 90s and it's working forever. The next one is cognitive services for speech. And this is very cool. So you can have speech to text. So when someone's speaking, it's just showing. On Teams, you can, for example, have it very easily that someone's speaking and you have the transcription. You have text to speech, so someone is reading for you, and it's very good for a lot of people, especially those who are learning new language. It can translate your speech, so from English to another language or from another language to English, so you can only listen. speaker recognition, so it can understand who exactly is speaking now. And of course, you have access to Speech Studio when you can use the speaker recognition or custom speech services. So when we would like to use the custom speech, I'm sorry that you couldn't read here.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Yeah, so you need to create a custom speech project, upload your audio, and train based on this audio. And as well, upload the speech, so this will train. So first you need a lot of preparation to do before you will start to use a custom speech. And with text to speech, it's like getting a text, analyze the text, checking which language it is, and it could use neural acoustic model. So it means that you couldn't tell if it's speaking a person or if it's speaking the computer. And then decode this one and get audio back. And the same similar one with speech translation. So it getting a speech, checking what language you're speaking, getting to true text, so to understand the context, going to translate with machine, but all context, because each language is little different. So the grammar in English is different than grammar in French. So it's need to understand this all things. And then going back and speaking back to the person. And speaker recognition. So here you need to have permission. So I think for this one, you need to apply to Microsoft for creating the project. So you need to have a example of people who will speak, put them, and then it will do a verification. Is this the voice the correct one for each person? And with Speech Studio, you can create a speech to text, text to speech, and the voice assistant. So if we go to Speech Studio, as the same with Language Studio, you can try your real-time speech to text custom project. So here where you're creating this custom speech, what you need, and pronunciation assessment as well. So here as well, you can go and check everything, and it's very cool to go with. And custom neural voice is this where, as I mentioned, we can hear that someone is speaking. It's not a computer, but it's like a person. So you can try the custom neural voice light. You can get access because, how I mentioned, you also need to have access from Microsoft because it's not cheap, to be fair. It still needs a lot of work because even if we're speaking different languages, different voices, it's still tricky to find out who's speaking what. And here's a good example. I don't know if you're using Duolingo to learn another language, but Duolingo started using custom speech. And this is a very good example. I hope everyone can hear.
Yeah, this part might not work properly.
Each have our own personalities.
And we have backstories and relationships.
We each have our own personalities.
And we have backstories and relationships.
Which help to add depth to our characters.
It makes language learning more fun.
And provides lots of variety for learners to hear.
Not just one or two, but many different people's voices.
Putting everyone together brings language learning alive.
Get to know our stories.
As you learn to read, write, listen, and speak with Duolingo.
Gracias.
Merci.
Hasta la vista.
So this is a good example how they're using from different languages neutral voice. So it's not a real person. Of course, there was actors who give the voice, but they're not speaking it. It's speaking the computer for each language. So if you try Duolingo, you can easily find how it's cool for me. And one of the last is a vision. So I think most of people who using AI focus on vision and of this what camera can see. And there are three things. It's a computer vision, it's custom vision, and face APIs. And as well, there is a Vision Studio that you can go and check how all of this API is working. So how, for example, you can extract text from image, how recognize some person, how monitor social distancing, for example, or detect who come to some enter zone. So I think with COVID, this was missing for a lot of shops and other stuff, but now we are more prepared for this in future. So this is an example how it can read from the picture. And we saw this as well on Moderator image. So it can get it showing where exactly is a text, but as well the showing where the part of the text is. So it's just showing exact points of each of this on the picture. It can go also with the handwriting. So as well, exactly the same. It can go if it's success, where exactly is the word and all text. And here we have some other example of looking at it. So what you can see on this picture.
Colors.
Colors.
Swimmer.
Swimmer.
Water.
Water.
Bubbles.
Yeah. How old he is? Can you guess?
30.
So this is what computer vision can see. So it can see only few levels. It cannot see how our eyes seeing everything. So it's just getting few bits. So based on that, the main category what it see is people swimming, what is correct. And the caption for this is the description with 89% is a man swimming in a pool of water. And as well, it can add some tags for this picture. So it add a water, human face, pool, and sport. So for this picture, as it was used for Microsoft, it's very good and very accurate. So it's almost 100% for each of this. So it's very good. Sorry, not this one. And as well, it's going for face. So in this case, it's find a face. It's thinking that it has 36, and it's also getting a gender, so it's a male. And fun thing, if you're starting using the computer vision for face, it depends of the light. If you're smiling or not, then predict your age. Usually when you're smiling, you are older, so don't smile if you want to look better. There is as well a custom vision. So for custom vision, you need to upload some images, train them, and evaluate. So I have example that I've done last year in my company for hackathon, and we win this hackathon. It's very great. So the main thing is that you need to have a lot of tags, a lot of things. So the images, what we're looking for is how to know which plastic going to where. So there is from 1 to 7, and only a few of them you can recycling. Some of them you couldn't. And it was the main challenge that you need to go and check which one is going to where, especially that each county in England have different rules for recycling. So it was very surprising. So this is what you need to do for each of them. You're just putting image, and you need to tag one by one. So it's very cool because it's showing you where is the image, and then you can just select and tag, well, what is it, if it's recycler or not, and this is how you're doing it. So you need to do for each of the image. So it's a training. Then you need to have performance. And how you see we have the little orange things because you need to have similar amount of the images for each tag to be more accurate. And of course, longer you put to train this one, it costs more, but it's more accurate. So of each of this, you have like precision, recall, and you can see how it's changed based on our images, how far we add, and etc. And each of this have API and endpoint and key that you can use. So here we add for like 2 hours. Here we add for 4 hours, and it's a little more better. But of course, if more money you have, then better. And here you have a prediction where you can go and train. You can when you can go a quick test, and you can view your endpoints and information, where to put exactly your URL and key and everything. So it seems very easy to use without data science knowledge. And next is face and emotion. So computer vision can find and detect and analyze age, gender, if anything, it's hair, find similar faces, group faces, and identify and verify if this is exactly the same person. So this is picture of me, and you can now think about what age I am. Any details, what you can think about, you can do it now. You are free. I allow you. So you can think on how old I am on this picture, what color of hair, what I'm wearing, if I have makeup or not, etc. So you can say it if you want.
I don't see cat.
You don't see cat, no. Okay, so it's getting a face and showing exactly where my face is. So it can create a rectangle exactly in this place. And when we're going to with face, this is what machine learning is looking for. So where is the nose, where is the eyes, where the eyeball and mouth. So this points what they're looking for when they're looking for the face. And can find like its age, emotion, glasses, noise, smile, if I have a makeup and other stuff. So based on this picture, it's find my gender correctly, not find correctly my age. I'm not 38 yet. And it's find that I have glasses. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see. It find correctly that I have glasses. It's not find a makeup, but thinking that I have lip makeup. So all of this information we can go from this API. I think that there is more, but this is the first sample. Sorry, I will show this one. And the last one is OpenAI services. It's in public preview, so any of you who would like to use this one, you can just sign it, tell what kind of project you would like to have, and you can go on. So they have how you can use public OpenAI. You can use with Studio, you can use with Python, or you can use REST. So there is no more because it's still in preview, that's why. And there are 3 kinds of models. it's GPT-free to generate some text. It's codecs for generate the code, and embedding to create some other things like code search or text search. And this DaVinci, Corey, Babbage, Ada, it's all of the name of algorithms that we are using in OpenAI. So do you heard of an OpenAI project? For example, for GitHub. Copilot. Copilot is using the OpenAI. So this is when you're trying to write some code and it's just telling you what next should be. So it's for very quick to write the rest of the code. But if you don't have access to Azure OpenAI, you can go to openai.com. This is the beta where you can find and play a little bit. You can set up, I think for a few days is free, then you need to pay, but you can set up how much you can go with it. And you have some examples how you can use this, like text command classification and other stuff. And here you have a playground when you're choosing which model it is, how accurate it should be, and length of the text that will generate. So, for example, you can write in Python bouncing blue ball on the screen. So I would like to have a code of this, and it's generating automatically for me.
We're in the future.
Yeah, so this can do for us, and we just copy paste and it's working. But as well, it can generate some text. So we have a bot that we're doing some sarcastic things. So we're just writing for him like, show us something. And at the end, we're asking him, what time is it? So he shouldn't answer the correct one. And when we submit, it's not showing the correct one. Similar one, but it's not correct. Of course, we can run one again. And again, it's not showing. So it's learning based on our text what it can be. We can as well write something like, here is example of tagline. So write a tagline for .NET Nottingham coding group. And it's going and creating a tagline for us. So it's very cool, it's very powerful. So if you have a chance, just go and test it.
Is that English only? Do you think? I want to do it in another language.
To be fair, I'm not Czech, but I'm not good with French, Spanish, or other languages to test it. For sure, no. Polish is always the last one for languages. Always is first English, American English, then is Spanish or French, both of them, and then rest like Chinese, German, and other languages is at the end. So no Polish, sorry. And it's still beta, so. But it's very cool and very powerful. I know that people could think that more developers, but you still need to understand the code. There is still a lot of companies that using COBOL. Yes, I know the company that's using COBOL. And this is the subject that everyone should learn about this. It's responsible AI. So the question is for you, what you thinking about responsible AI? What is for you?
Not racial profile.
biasless.
Yeah.
Mm.
Legal. Making sure you're not stealing somebody else's intellectual property.
Mm. Yes.
Is it going not to commit any crime with AI?
Yeah, and with AI, it's very easy to go with that. That's why responsible AI is very important subject to talk not only with people who using AI, but as well with everyone, to be fair. So probably you've heard about Cambridge Analytica scandal and how they use for America voting, and it was not good. But close to us, in UK, do you know about facial recognition used by police? There is no law about this. They're still saying that they're using it for prototype, for learning how to use all of this, but there is no law about how they use our picture and our face, our voice, how we behave. It's our identity, and it's not good, I think, because there should be some regulation how they can use all of this. And the good movie on Netflix was Coded Bias. I don't know if anyone watched this. It was an American Black woman who showed that she started using facial AI APIs, and she found that because of her color of skin, she couldn't go for few bits because it was created for white male. So when white male going, they think each of us the same, and she's trying to fight on this, that there should be some law that everyone should be included. So for example, when we're creating some face API things, we need to include almost all of them. So not only white male, but everyone, doesn't matter of gender, but all community to be together. So I very recommend this Coded Bias because it's very, very good to showing how this AI is not just good. And the bank discrimination. So it was very good in show with Wozniak and his wife. So in the US, so they put the bank statement to get a credit, and he was much better score of a male, white male, than his wife, even if they have similar everything, only because she was a woman. So it's again some discrimination that AI and some algorithms going on, and it's just not good. And that's why when we're creating something with coding, we need to get and include everyone. So with responsible use of AI, we need to think about fairness, about relativity and safety. So everyone should be safe when using this AI. It should be privacy and secure for all of this. It should include everyone. And the most important, it should have a lot of transparency. So like Facebook, still a lot of people fighting for it. Facebook don't have this transparency because we still don't know how they're using this all algorithm and everything. And accountability. So we need the people who creating the system need to know what they create. They need to understand how all of this algorithm working. And Microsoft, for each of these APIs, what they create, they have transparency notes. So if you're interested, you can go, and I have all of the links if you want to read. So there's all information how they use this API, how it's creating, what kind of algorithms they use, and other stuff. So all of this in transparency notes. So based on that, we can have a quick summary. So cognitive services have 4 main things. So they have a speech, language, vision, and decision that we can use. They are studios with speech studio, language studio, and vision studio, when we can go and check how these APIs are working, but as well we can do a custom things. And before also you go, you can try your query. So you can go and check how this is working, so on which of this you still need your API key and endpoint. You can put there on the side and see how each services are working. And how easy is to use cognitive services? So you can use this with REST API. You can use this with SDKs. You can easily add them to Azure Function, use Azure Logic Apps or Power Automate or AI Builder, what is in Power Apps. So it's very easy to just go and check them. And as well, you have SDK, so it doesn't matter of which language you like, which language you're programming. You have SDKs that helping you to create each of these services. And why to use AI? Because they can build a future. We can add, of course, there is a lot of bad things, but we can give a lot of good things. So we can use them with mixed reality. We can use with quantum computing with blockchain. So it's very great to go and use them as well. And you can learn more. So if you would like to go and hands-on on this all things, there is a lot of. So first you can have Azure Essential. So you will have 200 credits if you don't have Azure subscription yet. But if you have, there is still, how I showed you before, a lot of cognitive services that you can use for free, and it's always free. You have as well hands-on with AI, so it's aidemos.microsoft.com. So you can see a lot of cool projects that was created. You can go with them and get some inspiration. AI School, when you can go and learn about AI and the projects, and there are a few discovery learning path. The one good thing, and it's very good to check, is Azure Roadmap. So if you're using Azure, probably you know about Azure Roadmap, but there is all information about what is going on with all services, because sometimes you have some service and then Microsoft decides, sorry, we don't need this anymore. So it's good to see if you're using, especially on production, if this service is going on, be still there. And of course, you can try this cognitive services for free, so you can go and check all of them on the website. But if you need some motivation, there is 30 days to learn it. It's a step-by-step how you can go with Azure AI fundamentals. And yeah, if you need just motivation to learn, is good. And in 30 days, you probably will pass the AI 900. So it's easy one. So with that, it's all what I wanted to talk. Thank you.
If you've got questions, we're going to try it with this mic. I don't know if it's going to get picked up on there or not. And the next time we do this, we're going to have a proper mic system, so don't worry about that. Has anybody got any questions?
I'll check this on while I'm doing it.
A lot of people joke and say that artificial intelligence is what appears on PowerPoint slides and machine learning is actually what's behind it. How much do you think it's useful to keep talking about this as artificial intelligence rather than machine learning?
It is AI, and AI is part of machine learning. So we have AI, then we have machine learning, what is more algorithms, and then we have a deep learning, what is data scientists know about this. So all of this is AI. It just the name. And yes, PowerPoint using AI. I'm using this. It's very fun to use PowerPoint with AI.
Good. Any other questions? And recent.
We've got a couple on Slido as well, Pete.
We have. I was going to go to those. Actually, one of them was, what tools are we using for the hybrid? Actually, Jess, you're probably better off answering that particular question. She's gone again.
I will try. I don't think people on Zoom can hear me very well, but I will type it to them as well. So we've currently got StreamYard for the video. We've got Zoom for the hybrid chat, and I'll be going on there to chat to people afterwards as well, after the event. On the go as well, I've got Slido for questions, Twitter, YouTube, and Meetup. So it's very exciting over here.
Lots. So I'm switching across the Slido. There's somebody asking in the chat about how do you get speaker recognition. So essentially what you do is, I'm going to go over here. The more of this you do, you just keep a record of what it is you're doing, and ideally if it's on Meetup, keep that link. And then if you do enough of this, and really you do need to do enough, you need to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe more talks, and then blogs maybe as well. So it's not an easy bar, but it's well worth doing. And if it's something you're interested in doing, then you're probably already doing it. So go ahead, speak in the community, organize Meetup groups like this. Make blogs. You can even contribute to the docs. They're all open source with Microsoft. So making pull requests on that, keeping them up to date, suggesting things on there. The open source community is a great place to go and get involved as well. Even going along to events and helping to organize events that you're not even organizing. So moderating forums and stuff like that's a great way to do it as well. So go ahead, do those things, but keep a list, because it's very easy to forget what it is you've done. Even as MVPs, it comes around to MVP renewal time and we forget that we've not actually put anything in. So you've got to put them all in. So keep that list somewhere of all the links to the events, and then you can get in touch with any MVP, send us that list of stuff, and we'll have a quick look at it and make sure that we think that, save wasting your time, that you've done enough and you're going in the right direction. If you have, then we can refer you to, in this country, it's Claire Smith, who's awesome. And then you can have a chat with her and she'll guide you through what it is you need to do. So
A couple of other things to add to that, Pete.
Go ahead.
It doesn't have to be completely tied to Microsoft. So if you're mentoring people, that counts too. A lot of people don't remember that. And also, you don't have to wait until you've been nominated to be an MVP to talk to Claire. We can get you in touch with her prior to that, so you can have a chat to her directly, as well as talking to an MVP.
Exactly that. Another question on Slido actually was what languages are people using on Duolingo to learn, which I thought was an interesting one, obviously triggered off of what it was you were doing. I know I've used it for Spanish and my wife's using it for Spanish. But it's great. I think there's loads of languages on there.
It's lots of languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, my niece managed to get my wife started off on Elvish, which was...
Yes, you can learn Klingon as well.
Yeah. Elvish as well, which is apt, I guess, given the new TV series.
And it's cool because it's free.
Yep.
There was a rumor years ago that part of the reason that it was free was that when you got advanced enough to be given blocks of paragraphs of text, you were effectively doing translation work for free on Duolingo's behalf. I'm not sure how true that rumor was. But it's an interesting charging model that you could actually invent a professional services for translation by crowdsourcing 100 people doing the same paragraph and take the average of what most people agree upon.
Yeah. Captures. But didn't Microsoft do a similar thing, like when they first started making these services? They was it How Old Am I and things like that? Wasn't that used essentially to train the models?
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to think about some of the things that you've been showing about where they do pop up in Microsoft products, like the stream hosting service for video does speaker recognition as part of that, even though
So still you can use video indexer. That there is still there. It's just not showing on the main cognitive services part, but it's using a lot of cognitive services.
Yep.
So with video indexer, you can upload video. It's getting all speech recognition, speaker recognition, so a lot of recognition there.
So they can create automatically the subtitles out of the speech on the video.
Yeah, PowerPoint does that automatically using the same services. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm making the notes.
Yeah, so it's still here. So this is the example I done 5 years ago.
Huh.
So I'm not trained this from that time. But this is Daniel Craig speaking in Russian. So that's why I'm using this example, because at that time it was very funny. And how you see everything here is in Russian. It's getting some tags, keywords, labels. Some of them is in Russian. I don't know, some in English. You can have all of information who were speaking. You can easily translate them to any language. So I can translate to Polish to understand if it's correct, but I can translate this to English. So now you can understand as well what they're speaking about. And opening the editor. It's also showing who is where, who are speaking. So getting a face recognition to find a person. And you can add who is speaking where. As well as getting with sentiment, if it's good or bad speaking. So yeah, it's still just it's not there on the cognitive services list. That's why I'm not sure it.
Pete, was this similar stuff that you were playing with Azure Precept? Am I saying that right?
No,
Percept.
everybody says that.
Percept?
But yeah, we've all seen Minority Report. So Jonathan's asked if it's these services are used by the Azure Percept. The Azure Percept, if you've not seen it, that's a piece of hardware kit that does AI and also AI at the edge. So it's a Microsoft product that allows you to be able to get started quickly. Really expensive piece of kit, to be fair, but it uses the cognitive services in the background. So it does some stuff down on a little SBC, a single board computer, but it's got a camera and a set of mics, and then that uses those same online services you've seen today to do facial recognition and sound analysis and stuff like that. So Percept, yeah, rather than
Because it feels
Precept.
like some of the demos they did of that was like the shop example that you talked about earlier, detecting whether people were in certain zones. That must be the kind of technology that's driving the Amazon shop, where you can just pick things off the shelf without scanning them. You know, it's that kind of idea, isn't it? That vision is getting so powerful now that you can see individual items.
Yeah, exactly.
Being pulled off a shelf and putting it in your shopping cart.
Yeah, if you go look on YouTube, Paul DiCarlo, who's in the AI team over in the US, he's based in Houston, he did an awesome example of exactly that, actually, where he had a shelf, and it was a lot simplified, but it was just the front on of a shelf, and it could detect what you'd taken off and what you put back on again. So I think I was using NVIDIA tech. I'm not sure what the Percept uses under the hood. I wouldn't be surprised if it's got NVIDIA tech in there. But I know there's a big collaboration between NVIDIA and Microsoft in exactly that area at the moment. And there was an announcement just the day before yesterday on that, actually. So, yeah, it's interesting. Certainly edge processing for AI is hugely important because, as Gosia mentioned, you need quite a lot of money to make this work properly. Yeah. So the more of it you can do at the edge, then not only is it cheaper, but it's faster as well. So yeah, it's interesting. Any other questions? Silence. Let me just double check Slido, just make sure there's nothing else in there. No, nothing else in there. And Jess, is there anything else you want to add?
Competitions.
Cool, that is.
And unfortunately people on Zoom can't hear me, but I am going to use this to do a quick plug. I am going forward for the board of directors of the .NET Foundation. Please vote me. Woo. Yep. And yeah, Pete, just don't forget to do competitions as usual.
Yeah, I think we'll do the competitions afterwards because I'm stressed enough.
Be more stressed.
Yeah. So if you missed that then on Zoom, which is odd because I'm here and Jess is there, then Jess is running for the board of directors of the .NET Foundation, and I can't think of anybody better. So do go vote for Jess. And yeah, we'll do the competitions. Might do them tonight, but I'm not going to do them in front of everybody, so it might not go wrong. So ideally, I'd put them into a wheel decide thing. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it's odd that I win every month. I've got enough JetBrains licenses. So all right, with that, thank you so much for coming along. Don't leave if you're in person. There is pizza coming, or do leave, yes. But, absolutely stick around in, 3 minutes, theoretically?
Right.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza track is telling me. So
Happy days. So there will be pizza, and there's also drinks in the fridges. I think our fridge is over there with .NET Knots written on it. I don't know if we're allowed to.